All right, the Biden administration now teasing new regulations to slash nicotine in cigarettes, with no one arguing that tobacco's bad for you.
Yeah, for more on this, what's going on, let's welcome an internist at Northwell Health, Dr. Frank Contessessa. Dr. Frank, welcome back to Wake Up America.
Good morning. Great to be back with you guys again.
Yeah, Dr. Frank, the Washington Post reported that the Biden administration, they have plans to cut the nicotine levels in cigarettes. What are your thoughts on this?
So, let's look at this from a medical point of view. So nicotine is the source of addiction in cigarettes. So if you cut the amount of nicotine in it, to my mind, it might just make smokers want to smoke more cigarettes. And it's not the nicotine that kills you. It's what makes you addicted, but it's not the most unhealthy thing in cigarettes. It's all the other carcinogens in tobacco smoke that is what makes you sick and causes emphysema and lung cancer.
Right.
So I think the intentions here might be good, but I don't know in practicality, it might make people smoke more cigarettes. So I'm not really sure that that's the way to go.
Okay, so I read a report talking about this yesterday, and to what you just said, that's the point. The tobacco companies and companies that make cigarettes might be for this because people might be inclined to buy more cigarettes to get the fix that they are used to. Let's be honest, if you're used to smoking, Marlboro Reds or something, and they cut the nicotine back, you're going to need to smoke more Marlboro Reds. It's common sense. But to your point, it's everything else. It's no longer the tobacco. It's everything else that they put in cigarettes that could be more harmful, right? Do I have that? Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
Okay.
That's accurate. There are additives into tobacco, and the components of the natural tobacco leaf itself is the harmful thing here. And and there's also talk of banning things like the Juul, which I don't want kids to go out, and high school kids to go out who never smoked a cigarette and they become addicted to nicotine through the electronic cigarette.
Right.
But this is a valuable tool to help people quit smoking as well. So when you talk about nicotine replacement, so if I want to get somebody to quit smoking, one of the ways is with nicotine replacement, either with the gum or the patch or the electronic cigarette, because it's not really the nicotine that kills you. And then I can wean somebody down off the nicotine slowly without making them go into withdrawal, as long as they're not on cigarette.
Dr. Frank, can you break down what the Juul is? We saw young kids using them, and there was a ban because they had those fruity flavors, and more kids were obviously using those. What are the effects of the Juul here?
Yeah, if you remember, right before COVID hit, the big health news was people going to the hospital and to the ICU with respiratory failure. A lot of young people were subjected to respiratory failure who were doing this. There was an ingredient related to vitamin E that was an irritant for the respiratory system. So what these things do, they burn a chemical and they release nicotine into a vapor. It's mixed with water vapor. And people like it because you can smoke it almost anywhere. It doesn't make a lot of smell. There's no residual, odor or anything like that. And people think it's safe. And what puzzles me is how kids who never smoked a cigarette in their life are now, smoking the equivalent of 2 packs a day of nicotine. And they are nicotine addicts because the electronic cigarette, that I'm not in favor of. But this is a valuable tool when I help people get off of cigarettes, because one of the big weapons that I had was Chantix. It was a drug that I had a lot of success with. There was a huge recall. There's a lot of side effects, and it's not so much in our arsenal anymore. So now I'm right back to nicotine replacement. And this is one option that they're going to take away from me too.
Yeah, and I there's nothing cool about those e-cigarettes, those whatever they are, those Juul. Whenever I see somebody like the Marlboro Man, to me, when I was growing up and I'd see an ad in like Sports Illustrated, I was like, he looks cool. I'll admit it, that looks cool.
Yeah,
the cowboy.
Some of this makes
but the
me
guys
think
now,
of,
I'm like, that doesn't. What does that do?
I agree with you. And some of this makes me think of overreach with government a little bit, too. It makes me think of when Mayor Bloomberg wanted to ban the big gulp sodas. Do I think people should drink 30 ounces of soda? No. Do I think the government should tell people that they can't? I don't know that I'm there.
That's right. I forgot about that. I forgot that
happened, yeah.
That's
but
right.
64 ounces of soda is not a good thing. We can all agree. But
just make smart choices, really.
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Frank Contessessa, thank you so much
Good
for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Of course.